My name is Jordana Cipriano. This video is for Psychology F111X. This is video project number 5. The first thing I'm going to do is explain upstream reciprocity, paying it forward, which is also known as, or rather, sorry, upstream reciprocity is also known as paying it forward. I would just describe upstream reciprocity as something that happens when someone receives kindness that they can't directly repay. So instead of paying the original person back, they pass kindness forward to someone else. What makes this different from simply doing something nice is that it involves a chain of pro-social behavior. Person A helps person B with no expectation of repayment, and person B responds by helping person C. According to research in social psychology, this chain reaction increases overall cooperation in society because kindness tends to spread from person to person like an infection rather than stopping after one interaction. It becomes a ripple effect, if you will. So, interviewee information. For this project, I interviewed David, who is my husband. I conducted the interview on November 15th, and I took written notes during our conversation as the assignment requires. And to be fair, I spoke with a couple of people before I actually found someone who truly paid it forward in the true psychological sense, meaning they received kindness and then passed it on to someone else rather than repaying the person who helped. Yeah, because research in chapter 11 shows that humans have an innate tendency towards pro-social behavior like empathy, cooperation, and helping. I was kind of surprised that I had to talk with many people. Honestly, I expected the number to be higher because, um, based on the textbook research, it seems to be human nature. But, it seems like kind of like, I suppose a majority, this is my hypothesis. I suppose a majority of people probably do this, but I have the unfortunate reality of I'm a labor worker, so my pool of participants might not be the how do you say this? It might not be adequate to form an actual solution from. So, like, for example, I expected it to be higher because, like I said, the research from the book, uh, not everyone has been in the exact situation where they receive unexpected kindness and then intentionally pass it forward. I do believe that perhaps my experiment, if you will, was skewed because I do think that this might be kind of a subconscious phenomenon where people sort of just like, hey, that person did something kind for me, so I'm going to do something kind for someone. I don't think this is something that people generally think about, I think it kind of just happens. And moving on to my interviewee experience. My data for my interviewee experience was admittedly also kind of subpar because my husband is in the military. Which is not to say anything poorly of our troops, but it tended to be more like if he needed a PT belt, for example, he could ask someone to borrow it. And I suppose the best data I got from this was that he would also be willing to lend someone something, but for the most part, I didn't get anything too fruitful out of it. I mean, after like borrowing the belt, he told me he felt like relieved, grateful, and you know, I mean, it kind of saved his buns, I guess. He, unfortunately, I don't know if this skews the interview, but he is neurodivergent, so perhaps the the information I have received might not be. But I do think I still stand by what I said previously, where I do believe paying it forward, while the textbook kind of outlines it as something that we like to think about, like, hey, person A did something nice, so I'll do something nice for person C. I don't think that's how we think of things. I kind of am up to the understanding that it's more subconscious. So, I mean, perhaps my findings for this assignment are subpar for that reason, but uh, most of the people I personally talked to didn't really have many examples, so I'm just under the assumption that this is something that they kind of do. I mean, most of the people that I talk to are kind, so it kind of comes naturally, but like, I suppose if I was to implement my own feelings on it, I would do something kind for someone without expecting anything in return. I'm not quite sure how to explain it, that's probably the purpose of this assignment is to get thinking about it, but not for perfection. But I apologize. The pro-social implications at the individual and societal level. So there are meaningful pro-social implications at both individual and societal levels. Acts of paying it forward can increase well-being, boost mood, and strengthen someone's identity as a helpful and compassionate person. According to the textbook, pro-social behavior is often reinforced internally because helping others releases positive feelings and a sense of purpose. At the societal level, upstream reciprocity strengthens community cooperation. When kindness spreads from one person to another, it creates a chain reaction that increases trust, reduces conflict, and encourages social belonging. Research shows that pro-social behavior is contagious. When we see kindness, we're more likely to participate in it. So, interviewee's single act of kindness could indirectly influence others, or it might not. It depends. He's in the E4 mafia. Should everyone engage in pro-social behaviors? In my opinion, yes, but I say so hesitantly. I do believe that it is the responsibility of each member of society to engage in pro-social behaviors, at least to some extent. Chapter 11 explains that helping behaviors maintain social harmony, increase cooperation, and support the well-being of both the helper and the recipient. I do feel that if it's inauthentic, that's why I say hesitant. If it's inauthentic, I feel like that could cause some issues, but I'm not quite sure. Engaging in some small pro social actions doesn't just help individuals, it supports the functioning of society as a whole. Communities rely on shared empathy, fairness, and cooperation to survive. Even small acts like holding the door, giving encouragement, or offering help or help can maintain the structure, that particular structure, I should say. So I believe that paying it forward is more than just doing nice things. It's part of sustaining a healthy and compassionate society. Thank you for listening to my project. I learned a lot. Well, I learned a lot, probably not the intended learning, but I learned a lot from interviewing someone who paid it forward and from seeing the real life impact of pro social behavior.